Syncing works. Should be working. Hello, YouTube?
Connect.
Huh, yeah, it seems to be working.
We are connected.
Yes. Yes, my phone is giving me a notification that we are live. Right now there seem to be 0 viewers or, yeah.
I have never been on a live stream before. I have been doing
Yeah,
a podcast for over 3 years now, but it's always pre-recorded.
yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Not really, because it's live.
Yeah, it's live.
Can't fix any mistakes.
Yeah,
I
so,
can't pick my nose while we're on the air.
yeah, considering your camera is off, doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
I also actually need to check myself in my camera because I did a really lazy shaving job earlier. Oh, and I wanted to wear my trademark sunglasses. There. It's not easy to put on when you're having headphones on, but it works. There. So, yeah, we would. Okay, I should have scripted an opening. The topic is Star Trek The Next Generation, the Evil Former Captain's episodes, The Wounded and the Pegasus. And there's actually a lot to say about these episodes.
Yeah.
Because I rewatched them recently. I didn't even know that Captain Admiral Pressman from the Pegasus was the guy from Lost. Except
I
his
have
hair.
never seen Lost, so that means very little to me. But
that is not a big loss. No pun intended.
yeah.
But yeah, I like the actor on Lost. He was like the only cool actor on Lost.
So I watched these episodes prior to doing this. I had seen them both before. Most recently, the Pegasus episode, maybe 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. I watched it. I don't think I'd actually seen The Wounded since the '90s.
Oh.
So, but I watched it again, and yeah, it's a really good. We'll talk about it more in detail, but it's a pretty good one.
The funny thing is when I watched the Pegasus, I was trying to imagine it with the scenes from that terrible Enterprise finale in between, and
Yeah,
no,
I heard.
my mind just can't make that work.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never actually made it that far at Enterprise. I will someday. Probably. I've only watched like a little bit of Enterprise at this point. So, but I know a little bit about how that finale goes. My friend recently watched the entire show, and she said she was even being prepared for it somewhat. She was surprised at how little she liked the Enterprise finale.
Yeah, I like to pretend that it doesn't exist, like that
Yeah,
the
I think
previous two-parter was the actual finale.
I think some of the actors do as well. They like to pretend that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, even Brennan Braga apologized for it.
Yeah, we're sorry we did this.
Yeah, it's not often you get a writer and showrunner to apologize for doing an episode.
So, I mean, obviously, people who have seen your streams before and all that, your videos, they know you're a big Star Trek fan.
Yes.
I My attention to Star Trek has come and gone over the years. I think that I watched most of the TNG episodes on television here in Canada in the early '90s. I was a kid then, and going to school and all that. And it was kind of a ritual where you'd come home and plop down in front of the television and watch 2 episodes of Star Trek TNG back to back on 2 different television stations.
Huh, here it was on the same, because one network did like the Star Trek reruns at 3 p.m. And school here is in my time was until 1 p.m. So I got home, made myself food, and then Star Trek would come on.
Cool, yeah, it's definitely primetime viewing at the time, and very different era than now with the streaming and all that. So the
Yeah,
fact that it was like super mainstream, right, at the time, is kind of interesting. Um,
it was like on Wikipedia they say it was like 11 million people in the USA watching it. It's like almost Game of Thrones numbers.
yeah, yeah. Now season season 4 has a lot of really good episodes, and that's the season that The Wounded is in. And I kind of vaguely remembered it, but it was definitely a good thing that I watched it again because it had been so long, right? I was
Yeah,
kind
it
of
has.
surprised how little I remembered Pegasus because for some reason I thought that the aliens in that were the Cardassians as well, but they're not. So it's the Romulans. And that episode was better than I remembered. Kind of, I think that in general I've been a little bit down on the last season of Star Trek TNG. Like it has some good episodes, but
It
you and
has a
I
lot
were
of
talking.
stoner episodes that are fun
Uh,
when you're
I think
stoned.
the best stoner episodes are in the second season. That has the best stoner episodes for sure.
That
But
that
I know
too.
what you mean.
But
It's got like that episode where they all devolve into like weird creatures, and it's got the other one with the masks, and you know,
yeah, the
probably
devolving and the season 7 also had the one where Data has a dream where he needs to figure
oh
out
yeah,
with Counselor Troy
kill
to
them
take.
before it's too late.
Yes.
Yeah,
Phantasms. Yeah, Phantasms, I think it was.
yeah. I mean, I think it's not the. I like those kind of episodes. It's not. It's not the. It's not that I think that makes me down on it. It's the fact that they. You can kind of tell that they know that they're almost done, and it just
Yeah.
kind of feels like they're just coasting by on the fact that they know everybody loves the character so much that it's just like it doesn't nothing really matters. They're just like we're just happy to spend time with Picard and Riker and Data and Geordi and all those people, right? And it's like that's I don't know, and they keep introducing weird things that feel like they should be a really big deal, but they're
Yeah.
not because the show's over, right? So it's like you
Let
know,
me just check the episode list, but I think season 7 didn't have a single really thought-provoking episode
hmm,
uh, that really gave you like that science fiction sense of
yeah.
that's interesting to think about. Well, it had Sub Rosa, which made you think that the writers have gone insane, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. But at the time, too, Deep Space Nine had already started. So, and I was kind of more impressed with what that show was doing a little bit because it felt really different. So, I really like season 6 of TNG. Like, that one's great. But I don't know. I
yeah,
just felt
that
like yeah, just
chain of
wasn't that.
command and frame of mind.
But the the Pegasus episode feels again like something that should be again like it's got this problem that some TNG episodes have for me where they set up this really intense dramatic situation and then it's wrapped up in the last 5 minutes and it's just kind of like, oh, that's it, okay. So um, I still liked it though. I liked it more than I did last time I watched it.
Yeah, the idea is good, but it raises a lot of questions about you know
Yeah,
the Treaty of Algeron.
yeah. It seems like the Federation was at really a disadvantage during that one.
Yeah, and sorry, um, like they deliberately put themselves at a disadvantage in order to keep the peace with an adversary that didn't really care about peace. Like all through the TNG, the Romulans constantly went into the neutral zone, and whenever the Federation went into it, the Romulans immediately came into the neutral zone and told them to fuck off from the neutral zone. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the most effective type of diplomacy to constantly, step back and constantly
So
accept everything. And it's actually the same story as in The Wounded, because, in the end of The Wounded, we find out that the Cardassians were actually arming their outposts. And Picard just lets it slide and just
well,
said, yeah, we'll be
I have
watching
questions.
you.
I have questions about that because we don't know that. That's just what Picard thinks, right?
They scanned the ship and found that,
Did they scan the ship?
they scanned the ship, yeah, and
The
found
supply
that
ship?
there's yeah, the supply ship, and found there's a suspicious amount of stuff on there that shouldn't be there.
I thought Maxwell blew it up before they could do anything like that.
I, yeah, I think there were two ships. Damn, I just watched it the other day.
I know. See, that's
Um,
what I mean. Like, it seems sometimes like I don't know, these episodes have no excuse though because there's no B plot. So part of the problem with TNG for me, and I know it sounds like I'm being very critical because I really do like the show, but part of the problem for TNG, and like I'm a big TOS fan, right? I like TOS a lot, and TNG is good, but it's the show I grew up with. But I mean, part of the problem I have is because they kept introducing these B plots, right? It's almost like okay, they have the plot that's kind of the science fiction intrigue plot for all the sci-fi fans, and then they got the B plot, which is like Data learning to dance or something like that, which
yeah,
is just some that's supposed to keep the family audience happy, right? And because of that, it sometimes feels like there's not enough space in the episode for everything. Like especially the ending of the episodes just wrap up really fast and it's just okay, like it feels like that should be a bigger deal, but these episodes don't have that problem. So
yeah,
I don't know, but they still have this weird thing where it's like I have questions. Like I don't think that Picard knew for sure that the ship contained weapons and stuff. I think that he just guessed.
yeah. He
uh,
kind of deduced from the fact that the supply ship was emitting a lot more energy than a supply ship should, and they were like masking their energy signature and stuff like that.
that makes sense, but that's your headcanon. Like they never
No,
say that
he
in the
said
episode.
that basically that's what their scans showed. Their scans didn't show any actual weapons, but they showed a higher than usual energy signature, and they were masking their energy signature and something like that.
Okay, but the Cardassian guy, played by Michael Leho, was there the whole time watching them. So if that conversation had gone on, he would have heard it. I don't know. It just feels like there's something a little.
No, he was saying that to him in the end. That was the scene where Picard was talking to Mark Alaimo in the end.
Yeah, he's talking. Yeah, he's saying, well, but Captain Maxwell was right, wasn't he? And
Yeah.
but it just seemed to me like he was reaching. Like he was guessing. What you're saying to me makes perfect sense. Like that's probably that would make us that would be a sensible explanation. but I even had the transcript of the episode, and I didn't see anything like that. So I don't know. It just seems like Picard was making an intelligent guess, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. It's a lot to stake to stake things on is making a gamble. I was kind of
Yeah, but
disappointed too.
the end of the scene was also Mark Alaimo making a face like he felt like he was caught.
My oh shit, I'm in trouble face.
Yeah.
My Gold Ducat probably got a better poker face.
Yeah. Very underrated actor. He should
Yeah,
have
he's
been
really
in
good
a
at it. And
thousand
I
more
actually was
things.
convinced in this episode that he was on the level. Like he wasn't, doing anything subversive, anything like underhand. But it seems like, yeah, like Picard was right. And so, you know, the distrust was somewhat justified.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, they played it really well with Gold, not Gold Card, Gold Mossad punishing his underling for trying to spy and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean that was obviously like a show of uh, faith. A show of like,
Yeah.
see, look, we can punish our men for stepping out of bounds, and you know, uh, but yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting that this is an episode that features O'Brien a lot because there weren't too many of those on TNG.
Yeah, they're usually the best episodes, unless it's, O'Brien having a 12-year-old wife.
What do you think of what do you think of those domestic scenes with him and Keiko?
Um, I would probably not marry her.
Yeah,
She seems to be always complaining about everything, especially in Deep Space Nine.
yeah, and here it feels like I don't know. I kind of didn't really get the sense that they had a ton of chemistry at this time on TNG. I don't know. I think it got better with DS9. And I guess like there's some scenes on TNG that kind of make me wince a little bit because they don't seem to make sense to me. Like, um, so obviously Keiko's, like she's presumably lived on Earth for quite some time, or maybe some colony planet. I'm not really sure, right? But she, like, they apparently use replicators for food, right? And it's like people cook real food if they want to, like they have
Yeah,
a choice. So they cook
yeah,
real food if they want to. But O'Brien's used to eating like lamb chops and steaks and like, you know, real heavy soul food and stuff. And I'm just kind of thinking, so is there this whole industry in the Federation dedicated to like slaughtering animals and everything just for the people that don't want to use a replicator? Like that just seems weird.
yeah. Especially because in season one, where or two, where um, Riker tells the some ambassador that we don't eat meat anymore. That's barbaric.
Yeah, yeah,
With these two species that hate each other, the snake people and the whatever people that are constantly hunting each other. I don't know what episode that was.
it was a season one episode, right? Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Um, and that was again like that was during the time period when Will Riker was like grandstanding about the Federation and how superior it was. Like I don't think they quite gotten a handle on some of the characters yet. Like
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like something Will Riker would say like a few years later. You know, he'd actually be more likely to be the guy that would be like, yeah, I kind of like being on the planets where they like they hunt animals and they farm and stuff like that.
yeah. He'd go like targ hunting with Worf.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, this is a discussion for another day maybe. But I actually it's hard for me to be too down on season 1 just because it's the new Star Trek show. You know what I mean? Like, it still makes me remember 1988, 1987, right? And like, I wasn't really watching too much, but I had a couple of older cousins, and my one other cousin was like so excited about the new Star Trek show, right? And we watched a few episodes together and all that. And I was confused because I had seen a little bit of TOS, and I was like, "Where's Captain Kirk? This isn't Star Trek." But I was also like, you know, 7 years old, so yeah.
Why is this doesn't make any sense? One
Yeah.
second.
But
Why is why is
so
some random message showing up in the video description? That makes no sense.
what does it say?
Did you mention the thing about Kurt Russell's? What? That's
What?
not how it's supposed to be. Let me just check something.
We having technical problems that we don't know about?
No. Apparently, I just I have no idea. Weird thing that doesn't actually affect this place. Apparently, just something got copied and pasted wrong.
Where you copy pasting? I see. I could probably read it. Hang on, let me see.
Anyway, yeah. What was actually funny was that they never mentioned in Deep Space Nine that Federation weapons have a wider range than Cardassian weapons. So Captain Maxwell could easily destroy the Gallo class warship by being outside their weapons range.
What didn't they didn't mention? Well, yeah. I mean, you can see kind of how Deep Space Nine later on would kind of, I guess, tie a lot of that stuff in. But like, I don't think that the loss to the Cardassians was that big. Like, they just blew up a couple of ships, right? So I don't know. Presumably they were like, I mean, obviously they lost 600 people or something like that. But
yeah, but the point I was saying was that Maxwell destroyed that ship by being able to just be outside the Cardassian weapons range because his weapons range was higher than theirs.
oh
So
yeah,
he could just easily destroy it without a problem.
So it seems from this time anyway, the Cardassians were clearly less advanced. Like, they didn't have the kind of technology that the Federation had, and
Yeah.
they were obviously at a technical disadvantage. That doesn't really seem to be as much the case on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, because that just makes them easy targets. You just need to wait at the right range that they can't hit you, but you can hit them. So you can just take them out whenever you want. Which makes it kind of funny that the Cardassians are always so pissy and aggressive. And I would just tell them, continue pissing us off. You've just seen what we can do with your ships.
Yeah, right.
So maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Well, maybe they, I don't know, maybe the Cardassians had, like, this big weapons program, and they were able to advance things within a period of 2 or 3 years or something like that. And
Yeah,
who knows?
they definitely had to make some upgrades.
Yeah.
Because that would be like shooting fish in a barrel.
So one thing I thought was kind of interesting about all that too was that they really make a big deal of the transponder signals that the Federation ships have, and it's kind of interesting that I don't remember that coming up too often in the show, but I guess it probably must. And now I'm going to be looking for it. So obviously,
Hey
like,
Gorilla and hey LDG. Yes. People
what's
in
that?
the chat. Wow, there's people in the chat. Amazing. We actually have viewers. And I interrupted you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what they're saying. I can't. I can read it. I could take time out to read it, but I'm not. Sorry, I'm not getting. You take care of it. Take care of the chat. But no, I was just thinking that like they made a big deal of those transponder signals, and I was just kind of thinking, so they could scan a very large sector of space for the transponder signal, but they
Yeah.
can't. Like you can't actually see. Like the sensors wouldn't pick up just any old ship and be able to identify it as a Federation ship from like hundreds of light years away, right? But they can pick up the transponder signal. So that means that the ships must always be broadcasting that signal, no
Yeah.
matter what, right? So it's kind of interesting because, yeah, like I guess unless somebody has those transponder codes, that being like the higher ups of Starfleet obviously would have them. Uh, unless somebody has those codes, like the ships can't be tracked that way. And so the Cardassians really needed those codes in order to find the ship, Maxwell's ship, ahead of, well, I guess ahead of the Enterprise, sort of. But I mean, they had their representative on board the Enterprise. So, but anyway, it just interesting because I don't really remember that coming up that much in any other episode, and now I kind of am curious as to how much it does and how much I just didn't notice.
Yeah, I don't think it ever comes up in anything else. And especially the fact that, you can use the transponder codes to go through the shields and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. So they can also like if you have the transponder codes, yeah, I guess it gives you a certain amount of control. I guess I don't know that they were able to. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So those must be kept very very secret.
Yeah, and somebody with actual military experience might be able to explain to me what the actual use of that is, because that doesn't seem like the smartest idea.
Well, I mean, it's if you were looking for a missing ship, it would be a good idea, right?
Yeah, to find it, but to, be able to turn off the shields,
Yeah, I don't know.
that
I
seems like
guess
a recipe for disaster.
it could definitely be taken advantage of by an enemy. Yeah, I would
I mean,
imagine.
they have to be like hackers in the 24th century.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, nice. You can turn off your shields, do whatever you want.
yeah, yeah. Like having main administrative access on somebody's network.
Yeah, so I don't exactly know what the use of that is. Like I said, maybe somebody who was in the military or something has any idea why you would like have a signal that gives somebody else the power to completely turn off your systems.
Yeah, well, it would be a signal that most wouldn't know. I guess that only your superior, like only your command and control people would know about the signal specifically. So it must be like encrypted somehow, and like it just sounds like radio noise or whatever, unless you happen to know the correct code. I don't know. It does seem a little weird to me too. Like
Yeah, especially
it makes
because it
sense.
never comes up again.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it gets mentioned in other episodes that I just like ignored it as technobabble, and it's not, but it also makes me think of TOS because you remember all these episodes where Kirk is looking for, like, they're sent out to some outpost or weird colony somewhere that they haven't heard from for a long time, and they're looking for somebody's ship and they don't know where it is. Like, maybe that just happens so much in Starfleet that they're like, yeah, we need to give each ship a code that just keeps transmitting, like, all the time when the ship is online and operating. That way we can find the ships wherever they are in the galaxy.
So we need to find our ships that are constantly crashing, like half the Federation ships.
Yeah, turning people into Nazis and gangsters and
Yeah,
Romans and yeah, yeah.
all the
Uh,
ships that we lose every day.
yeah. So we get to hear O'Brien sing in the episode. It's
Yeah.
not very well. We get to hear him sing a traditional Irish ballad. um, it was kind of fun though. I liked it, and the song is kind of cool. I looked it up, but now I've already forgotten. I should have made notes because usually when I'm doing my podcast, I have a whole thing full of notes, and I forgot to. Well, I just kind of like, yeah, this is going to be really casual, and I don't really need to make notes. But now I wish I had made notes because I would be able to tell you what the writer of the lyrics to the song is. But I've actually already forgotten. It's a pretty famous, I think, 18th century poet
Yeah,
or
I
something.
have Google open in another window. Let me just check. TNG, the Wounded Irish
It's the Minstrel
folk
Boy.
song Minstrel Boy by O'Brien.
Minstrel Boy can.
Written by the Irish more than 200 years ago. So I guess there isn't really an originator to that song. Original composer.
But what who was it that wrote the lyrics to the song? Anyway, it's cool. It's kind of like dark. Somebody going off to war, and they have that the minstrel
Yeah.
boy can be found among the death, and yeah, Maxwell and O'Brien sing the song together, and then Maxwell turns himself in.
Yeah, he had that breakdown after, Setlik 3, which is a
Mhm.
recurring subject in Chief O'Brien's history in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
His thing with the Cardassians.
yeah, it was all about his children, and I don't know. I mean, it was a pretty powerful scene, but again, it was short. It was like it's kind of all it took was his old shipmate talking to him to
Yeah.
kind of make him think about what he was doing, I guess, and yeah, like I thought that Maxwell would be wrong because he seemed so unreasonable. Like he
Yeah.
seemed like a real asshole. But
Yeah, but I think it made it better that he kind of was implied to be right at the
yeah,
end.
I agree, and yet I don't, just because it doesn't seem that justified. It still feels like a leap to me. Like what you said, again, it makes sense to me, but I didn't see that in the episode. That didn't seem to be a conversation that happened. So um, it just
Let me
felt like, oh, is Picard going by his gut? Like, it kind of makes sense, but
let me
it
just
feels
check
like
on.
Picard would really want to maintain the peace at all costs, right? Just like his admiral was saying. Uh,
I don't want to see an advertisement. I want you, damn, stupid memory alpha.
what's your favorite? What's your favorite scene in that episode?
I like the scene of O'Brien having a drink with the Cardassian.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and it seems like they do have a moment of sympathy between them there, right? Because
Yeah, because the Cardassian says, Setlik 3 was a complete mistake, and
yeah, and then I can't remember what O'Brien said. It's just something about
uh, I don't hate you, Cardassian. I hate what you turned me into.
yeah, no, but I'm thinking before he said something like
He never killed anybody before. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah, no, that was like the whole story of his what happened on that colony and stuff. But it was just before he told that story, they shared a moment where it was like, oh, I mean, it's kind of like tensions are kind of high with you guys being here, and Cardassian's like, yeah, well, I mean, I can't wait to get back to my ship too. So, and
Yeah.
I just think thought that was kind of like, O'Brien just kind of realized, yeah, I don't need to be like a dick. Like this guy's just, doing what he's been told to do, and you know, they're here among a whole bunch of people that probably don't trust them and like them. So, yeah,
Wasn't it like O'Brien in that episode of Deep Space Nine where there are like three Cardassian women scientists on the station, and one of them like comes onto him?
I don't remember that episode. I mean, the thing is, I keep meaning to do a full rewatch of DS9 from the beginning, and I haven't really yet. So,
I think it was season 3. Let me check. My hard drive is being slow again. Destiny, I think it was called.
okay, yeah, I'll have to look into that. See, the other Star Trek shows, I just pretty much now, watch random episodes. Like I watch. This is gonna sound really fucking geeky, but I basically have a PowerShell script on my computer, and I can run the PowerShell script, and it will pick out like files that I've put them in a certain folder, and I give them a name, and it'll just pick out like if I want
Yeah,
to.
1 second. Gorilla. It was O'Brien though, right? I don't remember the story. It was O'Brien, right? Someone in the chat said,
What?
yeah, I think that was the scene where O'Brien was in the Jeffrey's tube with
Uh,
Cardassian Shake. I think it was the
one of his
captain
many.
from Babylon 5 um, who wanted to do him.
One of his many Star Trek roles. Yeah.
No, the captain from season 5, Tracy Scoggins.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since watched a lot of those. The thing is, Deep Space Nine is a show I really like, but it's the one pre 2000 Star Trek show where I kind of feel like I have to. I mean, I don't have to watch it right from the beginning to the end, but it would be kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind
And
of it takes a bit of a commitment to watch the whole
yeah,
story.
I like explain that I've already explained this to you before, but I didn't on the stream that I'm not that much of a TV person. Like I don't really. I tend to just prefer movies, and I will watch like maybe 1 2 hour movie every week, and that's it. So it's kind of hard for me to uh, devote a lot of time to watching a show, and I'd like to my friend and I keep saying we're going to watch Deep Space Nine together, and so far we've only made it through like a few episodes of season one. So, uh,
Yeah, but season 1 is not easy to get through.
yeah, there's a few duds, but I don't know. It's got its share of good episodes.
But
See,
it's like a Star Trek Star Trek tradition. Season 1 is always
yeah,
difficult.
but I'm also a person that really likes the beginnings of things. Like I like when things are just starting, and I don't care if they haven't fixed all the kinks yet or they haven't like worked everything out. Because to me, it's just cool because it's new and it's like not, there's no rules yet. So I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with things not quite like risen to the heights that they would later attain. Uh, you know, Deep Space Nine. I just remember watching that first year when it came out and thinking, wow, this is a really different kind of Star Trek show. I like it.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
and Next Generation, it was wow, it's new Star Trek. 7 years old, and this is the most exciting thing in the world. So I didn't care. I didn't care. And now in retrospect, yeah, okay, season one of TNG's got some pretty silly episodes, but that's fine. But yeah, I see that it's like, I mean, original series being the exception because season one of TOS is, well, one of the best of the three, right? But
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah,
Most of the classics.
that's right. Might have been any of the classics are in that season. But yeah, why don't we talk a little bit more about the Pegasus then? So, unless you have any other comments to make on this one,
Not
pretty
right
good
now.
episode.
Yeah, the Pegasus. Yeah, first of all, the Treaty of Algeron. Like we said in the beginning, it's yeah. That the Federation would deliberately put themselves at a disadvantage of people who were going to misuse that advantage every chance they can.
Yeah, there's probably a Star Trek novel somewhere that goes into detail about the treaty and exactly why, like what was. I mean, there had to have been an immediately positive aspect of signing the treaty besides just, the Romulans won't attack us or something like that.
Yeah, there has to be some clause in it that benefited the Federation, because otherwise it's just
It's stupid.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like even the Klingons have the cloaking technology, so like, why wouldn't the Federation? Now, Deep Space Nine, of course, fixed this, but it took the Dominion threat to bring that about. And I guess at the end of the day, they didn't need the Pegasus. They already had the research and everything because the Defiant was just a short way away, a year or two, and then
The
you have
weird thought,
Defiant.
the weird thought I had about this episode is that Admiral Pressman was trying to convince Will Riker and failed, and Will Riker basically sold him out. And in hindsight, I think the next thing he could have done is go to Thomas Riker.
Yeah,
Because he later joined the Maquis. He was already, going to be the different Riker.
that's
So
true.
he should have just gone to Thomas Riker and said, you're
Yeah,
my real Riker now.
he could have had the other Riker, and things would have gone different.
Yeah.
But I really like that it's Will because I personally appreciate the fact that Will is like, yes, I'm not the same person. I mean, I'm like obviously literally the same person, but I'm not like, I don't think the same way that I did 20 years ago or whatever it was, right? And the decisions that I made then are not necessarily the ones that I would make now, given my recent experience. And I can totally identify with that a lot. So there's a lot of things that I know had I the chance to do it over again, I would do it a lot differently now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's one of the things about the episode that I like most. And for some reason, I guess maybe it was the mood I was in, but last time I watched the episode like 3 years ago or something, I thought I like was kind of let down by it. It just got that like general season 7 feeling of like, hey, we're doing something important this week, but don't worry about it because next week everything will be back to normal. And it just, yeah, but this time I got into it a lot more. And, I thought it was cool too, having the Enterprise go into the asteroid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't think you see too much because it's just from the bridge perspective. But if this had been a Star Trek movie, I bet that would have looked really cool.
Yeah. Actually, it had a pretty good effect
Yeah,
of them going through the rock of the asteroid. But I also forgot what I was trying to look up on Memory Alpha.
sorry.
What's that sound I heard? Oh, I see.
You have notes, don't you?
No,
No. Okay.
you've
I don't
known
either.
me
I'm
for
just
you've known me for like 19 years.
When
That's
do I
not the
know you
kind of
have notes?
person I am.
I don't know. I'm just used to doing my podcast, and I'm like, how the fuck do you do anything without notes? And now it's hitting me. It's like, oh, I don't have any notes. But we're good. We're good. So I like the pre-credits scene in this episode with Patrick Stewart being really awkward. I always enjoy that because he's so good at being
Oh yeah,
awkward
Captain
on screen.
Picard Day. Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Picard Day, and he hates it so much. He's like, "Do we have to do this every single year?" And it's funny because it's like getting towards Christmas time now as we're recording this, and that's pretty much how I feel. It's like, do we really have to do this
Yeah.
every year? It's like it's because of all the the family stuff and everything, and I mean, I get it. It's a celebration of something good, but it gets kind of much some years, and December is a hard month for a lot of people. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was just funny. And the admiral he's talking to, I guess she sees something on his, I don't know if it's a thing on his wall or something like that, or thing
The
he's
whole
wearing.
ready room is full of that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. And she's like, Captain Picard Day, and he just lets out this like uncomfortable laugh. It's like, oh, it's for the children.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny how the episode puts it together. Like they're chased by Romulans and using an experimental phasing cloaking device, while the episode began with the fact that there are loads of
Yeah,
children on the ship. And the last ship that used the experimental cloaking device, almost everybody died. That kind of brings back the TNG problem that they have a ship full of children and are constantly going into extreme danger.
yeah. I don't really. I agree with Picard on this. I don't think it's a very good idea. Uh,
Yeah, that seems
yeah,
kind of callous.
but
Yeah, we got all these children. Let's fly through an asteroid while phasing and
but on the other hand,
while being chased by Romulans.
yeah. But on the other hand, it's fun to think of this as being like Captain Picard fills out his report at the end of the day, and he's like, "Well, we were going to have Captain Picard Day, but thank God there was an emergency and experimental cloaking device, and my first officer almost mutinied, and all this stuff happened. So we didn't have to have Captain Picard Day this year, and I was happy."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's talking to Troy or whatever. I think it's Troy at the beginning, and he's like obviously sweating and not liking any of this, and then Worf
No, it was
calls.
Riker.
Worf calls, and he's like, "Captain Picard, you're needed on the bridge," and you can just see it. He's going, "Oh, thank God!" Like, That's great. See,
Yeah, and
this is why I think, to an extent, the creators were right. At this point, we just like the characters so much that, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just fun to hang out with them. It's just they can do anything, and we're just along for the ride.
yeah, that's pretty much the season
I mean,
7 thing.
that's what makes me not like season 7. But at the same time, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's true.
Yeah, it's
They probably
comfortable. It's just people we know.
right, exactly, and
It's like all 7 seasons of Voyager were exactly that. It's just you know,
yeah,
nice Star Trek characters that are, you know, fun to watch while you're lying on the couch and trying to fall asleep.
yeah, and the big events are not really big events. Like, there's so many things that happen in season 7 where at any other time you feel like they would really matter, like it would be a part of a whole arc or something like that. Like, oh, the Enterprise is sentient. Well, that's quite interesting. Tell us
Yeah,
more about that. Nope, we're not going to. Data has a mother of sorts. Well, that's interesting. Are we going to see her again? No, not really. Warp drive is dangerous. It's bad for the universe. It's poking holes in the space time continuum. Wow, Star Trek has been based on warp drive since the beginning. This is a really major development.
yeah,
Nope, not really. Captain Picard has a son? Who
yeah.
cares?
Whatever. And you know, Beverly Crusher wants to have sex with a ghost.
Oh, yeah, that one. I forgot about that one. Yeah. So in this one, it looks like Riker is going to be court martialed, but apparently that doesn't come to anything either. So,
Yeah, it's because in the end they determine that the Admiral is the bad one, and Riker exonerated himself by
right. And so what it all comes down to in the end is that Picard is betting on the fact that his friends have more influence and power than Admiral Pressman's friends in Starfleet.
yeah, that's kind of
Pretty much that. Like,
that's kind
Pressman
of
is like,
a neglected detail that Admiral Pressman might have some allies who might defend him.
yeah, well, I mean, he's a superior, right? So, I mean, it shouldn't be dismissed away that quickly. You would think. Uh, I mean, obviously Picard was in the right. Like that. That is not something we, the audience, would question, but that's
Yeah,
certainly something that Starfleet should
yeah,
probably.
and Pressman probably the Pegasus was probably not his only ship, so he would have lots of other officers who served under him, and you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, but he's obviously, he's a very driven to do this, which makes a lot of sense. Like, more so than Maxwell in the previous episode. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. These other races all have cloaking technology, so we should too, and like it's kind of obvious.
yeah, that's kind of
Uh,
obvious. Maxwell was motivated by his personal feelings,
yeah,
and Pressman he was like being pragmatist about the
Mm,
uh, strategy against defending against hostile
right.
empires surrounding the Federation.
So it's a pretty cool cloaking device. It's actually not just a cloak; it allows
Yeah, a
matter
phasing
to
cloak.
pass through other matter, which is a pretty awesome thing that you could do with this technology, right? So um, that's that's something. Apparently, it didn't really work on the Pegasus because it got stuck in the asteroid. But
Yeah, it worked on the Enterprise, but then in the next 2 shows, DS9 and Voyager, and the secret hideout fake shows like Picard, it never worked again. Got never brought up again. Just stopped existing.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to refill my drink, and you can check on the chat. But I also wanted to ask you, and you can speak while I'm away from the keyboard for a minute, and I won't interrupt you. But what do you think of the reason revealed for Picard wanting Riker as his first officer, which we hear about in this episode, where he's like, "Oh, I wanted him there because he questioned the captain of his old ship, and he said he didn't want the captain to go down to a planet on a crisis situation." What do you think of that?
Um, Again, I was never in the military, so I cannot comment on the proper procedure. I know that the captain is not supposed to do away missions.
But on TOS, they did all the time.
Yes, but I am comparing it to like the U.S. Navy or Royal Navy or German Navy. Like in
The captain shouldn't be on away missions. Well, apparently, the original Starfleet of Kirk's days did not receive that memo.
yeah, obviously.
So I think it's interesting because it almost does feel like a comment on that. Like, Captain Picard does go down to planets occasionally, but yeah, usually he does tend to stay up on the ship more. But I kind of wish, I'm
Yeah, but
know.
in TNG, they also established because they're like long-range exploration vessel that the captain is also like the chief diplomat, like an ambassador, so he has to go some places. But
Yeah,
that the first officer gets to like decide you don't go into an active war zone or something.
yeah. I get that from a story perspective, but it's this. I guess it's the Doyleist perspective and like that I have about storytelling, where my friend and I were always commenting on TOS how it's the Kirk, Spock, and McCoy show, right?
Yeah,
And those three are usually all of them are usually on the away missions, and
pretty much. Yeah.
that seems funny, but at the same time, it's good because it's their show, right? The three of them are the main characters on the show. I mean, no disrespect to Scotty and Sulu and Uhura, they're great and everything, but most of the time they're minor characters on the episodes, and that's okay. Uh, and I think a part of me wanted Riker and Picard to have more time on screen together, because when they do have time on screen together, they're pretty awesome. They make a really good pair.
Yeah,
And so I kind
the
of,
actors got good chemistry.
yeah, and I kind of wished, yeah, like I kind of wished it was a bit more like TOS sometimes, even though it doesn't make sense. Like it shouldn't be like that. And I get that, but from the perspective of the TV show watching we're doing, I kind of like that. Like I like the chemistry that they had. So, but it is interesting that Picard's like, oh, this captain wanted to go on a mission to a dangerous planet, and the first officer said, "No, that sounds like a guy that I want on my side." Right? Just in case I get any stupid ideas about going to dangerous planets, you know, Will can just be like, "No, sir." uh,
Yeah, it's weird too because Cisco went on all the away missions and Janeway went on all the away missions.
yeah, that's
Captain
true. I didn't
Archer.
think of that. I think Cisco just liked to go to planets. Like I think it gets a little claustrophobic on that station sometimes. As nice as the promenade is, it's just like to go to planets.
Yeah, though in Cisco's defense, not really in his defense, but his first officer wasn't actually in Starfleet, which makes it more confusing.
Yeah, or Or yeah, I mean that those are kind of the things that got me fascinated by Deep Space Nine and made me like it a lot because it was not the predictable pecking order, and
Mm,
it wasn't so heavily connected to Starfleet
yeah,
necessarily all the time. And so um, I would almost say that I'm surprised that it took this long for modern Star Trek to kind of try different things. But as you said yourself many times, the modern Star Trek has its share of problems. So
yeah, because
and
it mostly
Picard,
tries old things, mostly tries recycling.
yeah, and Picard ended up definitely being a TNG recycle fest. So because nostalgia is such a sweet, wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So what else about this episode? There's not a lot of stuff with the other characters. Like some of them get lines. Uh,
yeah,
Beverly gets a scene, like one scene with Will. Uh,
yeah.
Troy
Data
gets a
and
scene with
Jolly
Picard.
get to make the device work.
They get to make what?
They get to make the device work.
Oh yeah, true, yeah, yeah. So they spout some techno babble,
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. But that's pretty much Picard and Riker, are their two main regulars, which I like. Again, I want them to have more screen time together because I think they're good together. So
yeah.
I think that's one of the strengths of the episode. That one of the things that makes me realize that yeah, actually, in among season 7 episodes, this is one of the better ones for me.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best. Uh, um, Barring the stoner stuff like the evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Uh,
evolving is more like fun, but this is more serious. I think it's probably the most serious in season 7, aside from the finale.
right. So you named this. I noticed you named this stream "Evil Ex Captains."
Yeah,
So moving away from this episode and these episodes for a bit, and making it a bit more general, uh, Star Trek has had quite a few of these, at least morally questionable ex-captain admiral types. Who are
yeah.
some other favorites?
Well, what stood out about these two episodes was that one of the main cast was formerly served under them, and a lot of the evil admirals for evil commodores from TOS were just
Oh yeah,
general commodores, not people they
uh, which
served under.
which episode was that again? Was he in the TOS one?
There was like the Doomsday Machine where the Decker guy
Right. Okay.
went
Yeah.
crazy, or
Yeah. So they're often these like Captain Ahab types, right? Where they
yeah,
just they get obsessed with a thing and it drives out all else, and they
and
really want that, to get that thing. And they usually have a core of genuine right reasoning
mm,
somewhere in there, but it's been twisted somehow
mm.
and made not, you know, uh, not desirable. Like, they can cause a lot of damage and kill people and stuff. And they're kind of like, yeah, it doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is that thing that I'm obsessed with, destroying
Oh,
this.
but I just remembered. I think the guy who wants to take over the Federation in Deep Space Nine, the
Oh, yeah, him.
Admiral
Yeah,
Layton. I think Cisco served under him.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good example. Um, there's also, of course, Picard's enemy in the Drumhead episode.
Yeah, but she was a judge.
Well, wasn't she an admiral?
Uh, Considering I just watched that 3 days ago, I should be able to answer that. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I think so.
she was an admiral in Starfleet, so I don't know. Maybe she
Yeah,
wasn't literally an ex-captain, but like,
Yeah, the
most
problem I
likely,
had, I think she was addressed as Admiral, but she didn't wear a Starfleet uniform. That's what
yeah,
kind
well,
of
she's
irritated me.
yeah, but I mean, she's an arbiter, in
Yeah.
a military institution, so she still has, the rank of a high officer and everything.
Yeah,
And,
but generally, like I said, it's like generally it's not people that the crew served under, like the infamous Admiral
not yeah,
Natea from TNG.
not then, yes, but maybe at some point in the past, right? I mean,
Who knows if the
think about how Captain Kirk didn't want to be an admiral because it meant he would be doing stuff like that, sitting at a desk
yeah,
and looking over other people's conduct. It's not what he wanted to do, right?
yeah,
So, I mean, maybe he wouldn't have been an arbiter, but he was still considered himself to be nothing but a paper pusher, and somebody who talks on the subspace communicator and says, what's your status? Please go to sector 013. Check this thing out for us and report back." And all the while, he's going, "Damn it! I wish I could be on that planet, meeting all the women." So, yeah.
yeah. The funny thing was that in that crap movie that I won't mention by name, that Admiral Janeway was an admiral while Captain Picard was still captain of the Enterprise.
Oh, yeah. Because I guess, he wanted to be captain of the Enterprise that much, right?
Yeah, so in the Next Generation they have a choice, and Admiral Kirk didn't have a choice,
Yeah, that's
except
right.
by breaking the law.
He's like, yes, he had to steal the ship in order to
Yeah.
continue captaining it.
Damn, I can't demote myself. Let me just.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. I enjoyed watching these two and talking about it and stuff. I don't, I don't know which one I prefer of the two. I think right now I'm kind of leaning towards the Pegasus for some reason, but they're both good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what put me off the Pegasus was, like I said in the beginning, it made me think of the Enterprise episode and trying to fit it together, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I think the stories are developed so that we, the audience, enjoy them. Not so much like there's a lot of internal things about Star Trek that, if you really think about them, they seem like they might not make sense, right?
Who
But
actually wrote Pegasus was written by Ronald D. Moore. And The Wounded.
is
Uh,
it
Pegasus was written by Ronald D. Moore,
okay?
and The Wounded, teleplay by Jerry Taylor, story by I have no idea who these people are. Stuart
Yeah.
Charno, Sarah Charno, and Sai Chamek. It sounds like they got it from like some Indian call center.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't actually check about on the writers, but I know Ronald Moore he was involved a lot in DS9. So
Ron Moore, he wrote all the Klingon episodes in TNG.
what's that?
He wrote all the Klingon episodes in TNG.
Okay.
He was trying to introduce a
Ah,
serialization into Next Generation and did that whole Klingon arc.
right. Okay. Yeah, he's definitely pretty good at writing the kind of political drama type episodes.
Yeah, like Redemption Part 1 and 2. It's actually, he came up with the idea that Klingon episodes should be like Shakespeare.
Yeah,
He actually
those are really good episodes too.
yeah,
Like,
he introduced the
I,
Shakespeare obsession into modern Star Trek.
So I don't know. I don't know if you've thought about future live streams you want to do, but I think that makes me think that a good one would be the Klingon episodes of TNG.
Yeah, that's. I also semi recently rewatched them. Well, like half a year ago or something.
Oh yeah, which one's that?
The first one was the in season one, the one that kind of sucked. Was Heart of Glory, which was just
Okay,
random
okay.
Klingons coming to the Enterprise. The first really good one was
It was the season 2 episode.
in season two.
Yeah.
Why do I not see it? A Matter of Honor,
Yes,
where
that one.
Riker's on the Klingon ship. And
Yeah,
then there's also in season two, the first episode was Worf's girlfriend, the emissary.
you're right. Right. Yeah. A Matter of Honor is definitely one I really like, uh, and that again kind of shows, I think, how they changed Will Riker because in season 1 he's very like pompous, kind of. It's kind of a weird thing that he does sometimes, where he's like, "Oh yes, we in the Federation, we do this so much better," and you know, but then he wasn't the only one on the show that was like that. I don't know if that's like
Mm.
Gene Roddenberry's influence or what, but it was definitely funny sometimes, and I think Riker being on a Klingon ship and having to fend for himself and everything, he's like, yeah, I better not make any speeches like that or they'll really kill me.
Yeah,
Right? So
literally, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
and
then,
Will's
and
always been
then,
one of my favorite TNG characters. So I
and
like
then
I like it when he's a bit more like sensible. you know.
in season three, they go all the way with Sins of the Father, and then it really kicks off with the arc.
Oh yes, yes, of course, yes.
Where
And
he gets is it exonerated? No, that was a Catholic church. Excommunicated? No, that was also
that's the Catholic.
that's a Catholic church.
Communication. uh, I know what you're trying to say, but I can't.
What was the term?
Uh, decommissioned.
No, wasn't. Let me just add sins of. No, sins of the
Google help.
Father. Was it No, it's um.
But yeah, that's usually what.
Discommendation. Discommendation. That's the word.
Okay, yeah. So it seems like in the Pegasus that should have been the least of what happened to him. But again, Picard going. My friends are better than your friends, Pressman. So, uh, yeah, he's counting on his influence at Starfleet to preserve Will's career, I guess. And I guess it works. So yeah,
Yeah.
good for him.
Hmm.
But, oh, any final thoughts on either of these then?
This is basically yeah, I preferred The Wounded because it's very dramatic with the chase scenes where they are trying to find Admiral Maxwell.
Yeah.
And they are doing like the transponder thing that never gets mentioned again, and Mark Alaimo is in it, who
And he's
is
obviously
trying to, who tries to suck up to Captain Picard while having kind of a secret agenda.
So do you think the fact that you know it's Mark Alejo means that you're less likely to trust him as a different
Yeah,
character?
in hindsight, yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a Star Trek novel. I haven't read it, but I read about it that he's related to Gul Dukat.
Yeah.
He's like a cousin or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, could be. But that was the first episode to show the Cardassians too. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was
I
the
guess
introduction of the Cardassians.
right. So I guess they look a little different too.
Not much though. They have different uniforms, but the faces are the same. Even though in this episode, Mark Alaimo is the only Cardassian ever with a beard.
Oh yeah, the beard.
Not really a real beard, more like a G.G. Allen beard.
Okay. Yeah. G.G. Allen is yeah.
Yeah, G.G. Allen had that thing where he had shaved the center of his mustache and left the sides, um, like a reverse Adolf.
Oh weird. Yeah.
Really weird kind of beard. And Mark Alaimo, he had like these weird beard hairs coming from like the corner of his mouth, like in little strings. A very strange beard.
That's yeah. Sounds unique.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure why, but for some reason I always pictured G.G. Allen being no facial hair guy. But I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a million different beards.
Huh. Beard like nobody else's.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cardassians would be obviously a big thing on Deep Space Nine a lot, and they're cool. I like their what we see of their culture and stuff like that, and obviously Garak and Gul Dukat are both really strong characters on Deep Space
Yeah.
Nine, and played by
Yeah.
great actors.
Surprisingly, also Damar, who first appeared as a throwaway character, but then got really important.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely curious about Andrew Robinson's book. We were talking about this the other day, and you
Yeah,
said how much of
yeah.
a shame that he didn't read it.
Yeah, that there's
Read
not
the
an
audiobook version.
audiobook version of it read by
Yeah,
him. That's just a total waste.
that has come up before, and there is a reason for it, which is beyond Robinson's control, as far as I know. But you can actually, I don't know if it's there, but I think on YouTube there's actually a clip of him reading from it, like at a convention or something like that. He doesn't
Okay.
read the whole book, but he's just like, yeah. So I'm sure he would if he could, you know what I mean? But I don't think he has the rights to it. I guess I don't know what the deal is with the Star Trek novels. Like a lot of them do have audiobook versions, commercial ones, but I don't know how they decided on which ones to do because I know they don't all have them. And
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense to me either. But I guess it's not meant for us common folks to understand. Corporate politics.
yeah. Yeah, some things are just out of people's control. But another thing I was that's curious about was the book that Garak is talking about in his first episode because I always um, I see things like novels in Star Trek as being a chance to make the world a little bit larger and make us see things that you wouldn't be able to show on television.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, that's not how it is. Like that's not what they are. A lot of the time, you can picture them as a TV story, but to me, that's disappointment. I don't want that. Like there's plenty of episodes already that I can watch.
Yeah.
So
Well, for me, that's never enough, but a lot of the Star Trek novels are like, a lot of the Star Trek fan films that, they are very referential, that,
yeah,
they only use story elements, from things we've already seen before, like,
yeah. A lot of the time, that's true, and I think that's true of many franchises, not just Star Trek. Where the novels are just kind of seen as like something extra rather than a chance to really expand things. And I know Star Wars has this expanded universe thing where things get really serious, and I don't know. I don't really follow Star Wars that much, so
yeah, me neither, but there's this, I haven't read it, but I've read a summary of the story, the backstory of General Grievous from episode 3.
oh yeah,
That he has like this really tragic backstory that he used to be like a biological person, and he was trying to avenge his lost lover or something, and got destroyed really badly and was put back together as like a mostly droid but with a biological heart, and that seemed like a promising story, just reading the summary.
oh, that sounds pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah, there
I'm
was
a
like
fan of the original trilogy, and I think I have one Star Wars hardcover that I got when I was like 10, and it was pretty good. Heir to the Empire. I think it's one of the more famous Star Wars novels. Uh,
I have that as an audiobook, but I haven't listened to it yet.
oh yeah, I didn't know about that. I actually uh, don't listen to a lot of audiobooks. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, me neither, because I usually fall asleep when I do.
Yeah, that can happen, and it's kind of funny that probably um, it's people assume that I would listen to a lot of audiobooks, being a non-seeing person, but no, I read a lot with my fingers, so that's better to me. I actually want to be the person doing the narrating some of the time, so I put myself.
Yeah, I mean, audiobooks would probably work for you because you're probably able to listen to them at like 4 times speed or something.
Yeah, but that would bother me because I think of it as a performance, right? Like I want to think of it as a performance, so I want to think of it like acting,
Yeah.
rather than just reading something like a document or something. That yeah, okay, maybe I would, but like the thought of like if I was a voice artist and people were listening to my stuff at 4 times normal speed, that would annoy me. So
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, but we're in agreement that Andrew Robinson should be the one to read Stitch in Time or whatever it's called. I think,
Yes,
but yeah,
Stitch in Time, I think. He just has such a great voice, and the way he, what's the word, enunciates. Um, he's
yeah,
just amazing at doing that. His Garrick voice.
yeah. It was a chance for him to really show some of his acting chops because a lot of the other things I've seen him in, like he could be kind of a major character, but he doesn't usually get to do that much. Like, I mean, he's pretty much one of the main characters in Hellraiser, or well, kind of, uh, because yeah, his
Yeah.
brother takes over his body. So
Yeah, and Dirty Harry, he's on screen like, what, 5 minutes?
yes, yeah.
And basically all he does is.
And in Hellraiser, of course, he gets to utter the immortal line, "Come to Daddy." Yeah. I have think that the changes that Clive Barker made to his story for the movie were just done so Andrew Robinson could say that line, because that's not in the original story, because what's her name is not his actual daughter, so he can't say "come to daddy." But yeah,
His actual daughter is also in Deep Space Nine: The Visitor.
oh really?
Yeah, the one where Jake Sisko gets detached from time, and
Yeah,
he's an old guy. The girl visiting him, that's Andrew Robinson's daughter.
oh
And
shit,
Andrew Robinson is directing the episode.
that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. And that's a really powerful episode too. But yeah,
The one thing that bothers me about that episode is that Sirok Lofton doesn't appear in like 100 Deep Space Nine episodes, and in The Visitor, his older self is being replaced by another actor. That annoyed
yeah,
me.
because he's supposed to.
They should have just put old people makeup on him.
Yeah, but I don't know. Okay, I'm not the right person to comment on this, but a lot of the time, old person makeup on a younger actor doesn't look very good.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of fan favorites are actually Jake Sisko episodes. In hindsight, like the one where they are like in a field hospital when they are at war with the Klingons, um, where he goes like out in the battlefield and gets scared and runs away from the
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
or not the battle to the strong, I think.
Hmm.
Or Explorers, where they have that solar sail ship and want to fly with the Bajoran solar sail ship.
Yeah, yeah, he was
He
pretty
was in
good,
a
and it
lot
was kind of
of he was in a
fun.
lot of fan favorites.
What's that?
He was in a lot of fan favorites.
Uh,
So it kind of annoys me that there's so many episodes he wasn't even in them.
yeah, in one of the biggest episodes for his character. Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what
Yeah.
you mean, but I don't know. I also see why they didn't really do it. But one thing about him is it was really fun seeing him grow up during the series. Like he's kind of
Yeah.
just a kid in the beginning, right? He's got a higher voice and everything, and he's like, and you kind of think like maybe he's not the most experienced actor, but as things go on and more time passes,
Yeah, but
he
he
really,
was like the protege of Avery Brooks.
oh yeah,
Like he really took him under his wing, and they had like a really father-son relationship in the series.
yeah, it's quite something to see. Yeah,
And
and
about him
I kind
growing
of
up,
appreciate.
he also had a massive growth spurt in the first two seasons. Like he started out really tiny,
Yeah,
and after that he was taller than everybody else. Which is funny because for Nog, his best friend, they hired a little person who
oh
stayed
really?
little,
Yeah.
and
I like too that Jake is like the one character who. So one thing that always bothers me about certain aspects of families in Star Trek, and you see this on Doctor Who now too in the new series, is that whenever somebody has, a son or a daughter or something like that, it's like they have to pick up the legacy of the parent. And
yes,
it's like the son of the captain always wants to be a captain too.
yeah,
And I kind of get that a little bit when you're a little kid, but like most of the time people don't really follow through with that. And I like the fact that Jake is like, nah, I just
yeah,
want to be a writer. You know,
I'm not joining Starfleet. That was the Explorers episode with the solar sail ship where you said, you know, I'm not really into Starfleet.
Oh, it's
I
getting
was
pretty
just
late there, isn't it?
let me check. 1:30
Yeah.
on a Saturday. A normal person would be partying right now, but I'm talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation because I'm not a normal person, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we should do this again.
Yeah, right now I should probably smoke less.
Maybe.
But yeah, right now I have the free service that just allows 2 streams per month, which was annoying, which is annoying.
Oh yeah.
But I think I'll go for the basic service, which allows more. Because, twice a month, that's a bit pathetic.
So you got a better one now?
No, not yet. I still need to have the spare money. I need to check if I can.
Yeah, you should. You should definitely do that. But yeah, you guys are gonna have grab some dinner, I think.
Yeah, and I only have half an hour left anyway, because I have a 2-hour limit on the streams too. So unless
Okay.
LGBT Free the Net wants to join.
So on my podcast, we use something called Clean Feed, which is also a studio that's kind of like this. And although so there's no time limit on the free one, but you only get a couple of audio channels to work with, so you can't really do any like. If you have multiple guests, you can't really do any like proper mixing or anything like that. But if you set all your volume levels right and everything, it shouldn't really be a problem. But
yeah,
it's interesting. They all do it a little bit differently. But
and the other thing about the free service is you wouldn't know, but I have an advertisement on the screen.
oh no!
Yes. The price you pay for free stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really. I mean, I looked at the interface a little bit, but also use an ad blocking browser, so I don't usually see ads. But this is probably not an inline ad. It's probably just part of the
It's part of the streaming thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that there's an advertisement for this service.
Yeah, right. And that's part of our video now.
Yes.
Well, cheers, man. So, yeah, we were supposed to have a third person, but I'm sorry that you couldn't join us if you end up listening to this. But
he is in the
thanks.
chat, but like I said, he had some loads of work today, so
Yeah, this
maybe
is why
next
people
time.
need to quit their jobs to join podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Get your priorities straight, people.
No working, just TNG streams.
Yeah.
That's the law.
Aye. So yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It's been fun talking Star Trek. I don't really get to do this kind of thing very often, although I think I will be talking Star Trek on my own Chrononauts podcast in a month or two, but that won't happen more than occasionally, I'm sure. So because we usually just talk about books, but
yeah, I'll invite you next time. Next time I can do a stream again, because right now I'm on the free service, as I said. If I book the paid service, I'll definitely invite you for every Star Trek stream.
Excellent. I look forward to it, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we have that matter settled.
Watch some Star Trek, listen to some harsh metal, and yes, everyone have a good weekend, and don't kill yourself over Christmas.
Yes, that's a good recommendation.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Say good night, and yeah, take care, Bjorn.
Until next time.
Yes, till next time.
That's the thing with Evie Max. Does that twisting thing. I still have 25 minutes. Yeah. I'm just gonna. It's fucking uncomfortable. I know it's a trademark, but it's freaking annoying. And Sins of the Father was written by Ronald D. Moore, and it's part of the Klingon arc. And the next part of the Klingon arc would be Reunion. Well, Ronald D. Moore and Brendan Braga and lots of other people. Next one is The Mind's Eye, teleplay by Rainey Echevarria, story by Ken Schaefer and Rainey Echevarria. It was also the first appearance of Sela, Tasha Yar's daughter. Redemption, written by Ronald D. Moore. Redemption 2, obviously written by the same writer. Next episode is Past Prologue. How is that related to the... Oh, on Deep Space Nine. Right. Okay. Firstborn, Renee Echevarria, Star Trek Generations. Screenplay by Ronald D. Moore and Brendan Braga. Story by Rick Berman, Ronald D. Moore, and Brendan Braga. So, I guess I need to kick JM in order to get that stuff off my screen. I also look like I haven't brushed my hair in a million years. But yeah, since I'm obviously not very creative at improvising at this point, and I'm just glad that my microphone didn't crap out this time. Thank you, Evie Mux. But I have no subject to improvise on, so I am going to end the stream. Click on the red end broadcast button. Anybody who watched, feel free to click the like button. Especially after I make weird tongue things, because I have too much saliva in my mouth. And Yeah, everybody have a good day, live long and prosper, or, most humans actually are, for the majority of humanity, live as short as possible and as miserable as possible, because fuck humanity.